Hey guys, John back with another anti-guru video, the only real channel that tells you exactly how it is, why it is, and corrects some of the guru-ness that's in the world. One of my good friends, Sue Morton, gave me that term, guru-ness, so let's go with it. It's kind of a good one. Today's anti-guru is based on a question by Becky Brignell, and Becky posted the question in the Property Expert community group on Facebook. If you're not a member of that community, join it, please do. It's absolutely throwing out good quality content at the moment, and don't forget I'm there every morning with my morning announcements, so it's an interesting place to be right now, this COVID-19 thing, and because it's an interesting place to be, we have to really focus in on what's important, and that's about staying positive, and that's what we're trying to do in that group. So Becky's question was focused on a doctor's surgery and actually revolves around a bigger question, which is why can't I convert a pub, a doctor's surgery, a clinic, a day nursery, a school easily into dwellings? Because if they're vacant, if they're redundant, then the government guidance says we have to try and deal with them. We have to try and get them to work. Okay, so that's the question. Now, the answer comes from para 92 of the MPPF. Oh, that great document, the MPPF, cocking up planning since 2012. The MPPF para 92 requires that councils should provide for and plan positively for the provision of community assets, and it lists some as shared spaces, community facilities, local shops, meeting places, sports venues, open space, cultural buildings such as public houses and places of worship, and other services to enhance the sustainability of communities and residential environments. Basically what the government is saying is that these buildings are important. They have an important ecosystem effect on our communities, and you can kind of see why, because way back in the 50s, the pub was the social hub of the community, as was the church. The doctor's surgery was kind of like a waiting room filled with people having a chat, and you had this village style mentality. Today, however, is a very different world. Now, it is an incredibly different world right now. We've been discussing this week in the workshops that in reality pubs might not survive. Now, it's very clear, and the government released through Professor Chris Whitty yesterday, that social distancing measures in England might last all the way through until the end of the year. Now, that's huge. And it's huge for community buildings like pubs, like sports facilities, like community halls used by scout groups and creches and all of those other kind of things. Because the income from those buildings is derived by the community effect. It is derived by people coming to those buildings in order to have some form of community bonding experience, community cohesion. Now, we've been watching pubs for a while, and I promise, come to doctor surgeries in a minute. We've been watching pubs for a while, and pubs have been struggling, it is fair to say. There's a local pub near us here, near the Beach Hut, that is on its fourth or fifth owner recently. One pub which has been struggling year on year, every single year, has finally been converted to a creche. And that was probably not the most forward-thinking form of development right now, because the use has been closed by central government mandate for social distancing reasons. So pubs are and have been a threatened species. Now, the same has always been true for doctor's surgeries. Doctor's surgeries are an important community facility. Now more than ever, I think we can all appreciate our beloved NHS right now. And I'm not going to get all political on why the NHS should be properly funded. we can all appreciate our beloved NHS right now. And the role of the doctor, the role of the GP has become more and more and more important. So, in reality, what we've got here is a circumstance where the doctor's surgery that is vacant has a big community weight placed upon it. You know, is it likely that the NHS are going to need that surgery again in very, very short future, in very, very near future? Soon, let's put it that way. The other aspect of the community protection is the need to demonstrate that the community no longer needs it anymore, right? Now that's normally done in a couple of different ways. Different councils have different tests, and I've seen tests ranging from 6 months all the way to 2 years. In the main, they're the same, which is demonstrate the community doesn't need it by marketing the property. Now this test comes all the way out of the agricultural homes release test. How you release an agricultural tie in a house. You market it for a year, demonstrate that no agricultural works it, and then you can release the condition. The same is true for community assets. You have to market them. You have to prove that that use is not needed anymore. I've got an appeal running in Chelmsford at the moment, in Essex, and there the property has been vacant since 2015. That's 5 years. It's in an appalling state, and the council are whinging about the loss of a vacant and dead pub on grounds that we didn't provide enough marketing data, even though we provided a year's worth of marketing data, which is exactly what their policy needs. They're saying the marketing data is vague. What more do you want? You know, we're trying to bring a building back into use. It's been dead for 5 years. But this is the thing. The councils are using the marketing data tool, and we need to use it too. So when you're bringing one of these buildings forward, what you want from the estate agent is to have that marketing data. If they don't have the marketing data, or if the marketing data is wrong, and what I mean by wrong, it was advertised as a development site, not advertised as a pub or a doctor's surgery or a gym or whatever. It has to be advertised for its primary use, not as anything aspirational. Then take control of it. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, you could do, for example, a lease option. Lease options are going to become incredibly popular now. That's where you offer to lease the building, hopefully for a peppercorn rent, whilst you sort out its planning. And then you take control, and as part of the lease option agreement, you could say, right, I need to market it properly, this property properly, as its existing use, and I need to do that for a year. I need a 2-year lease option on this, right? 2-year lease option right now sounds a lot, but in reality, it could be the way things swing as a result of COVID. That's certainly what we're seeing. So the taking control aspect would be the right thing to do. The next thing, the next aspect of all of this would be once you've marketed it, you get a marketing report from the agent. Marketing report is a report that sets out how have they marketed and where they have marketed it, national and local. Have they had any bites? And during the course of that period of time, how many times did they drop the price? Ideally, for most policies, you need 3 price drops. Okay? Once you've got that piece of information in hand, then you may make your application. Don't try and make the application beforehand. Okay, no secrets, no trickery to this. It is about the data. It is about demonstrating to the council that that use is no longer required. It cannot work anymore. It's gone. Now, as an aside to that, we have what are called the Asset and Community Value Regulations. Now, the ACV regulations were brought in order for communities to turn around and say, oh, hang on a minute, we need this. So if it comes up for sale, we want first bite of the cherry. What it does is very subtle. It applies a one-time, as far as I read, it is a one-time only moratorium on the sale of the property. It's not a moratorium on development, it's a moratorium on the sale. It allows the community who put that ACV together to attempt to purchase the ACV. They get given a period of time. I believe it's a year in the regulations. I need to have a proper read of them. But it gives them a year to put the money together to buy the property at the market rent. They're not allowed to reduce the price. It is at the market rent the moment it goes up for sale, right? The moratorium acts as putting a land charge inside of the land reg document, inside of the charges sheet. So a solicitor coming across an ACV cannot proceed with the sale because the moratorium is there. And the moratorium you'll find para 13 of the regulations. Now, the issue of an ACV has this effect. But if you have a property with an ACV, it does not act as a moratorium on development. What it does is act as a moratorium on sale. The sale can only go through with the community interest company first. They have to be given that bite of the cherry. So, what you've effectively got is an option. So why not use the option? There's a question, right? There's nothing in the regulations that provides for a developer joining forces with that community interest company and saying, yes, exercise the option, buy the property, you run the bit that you want to run, and I will do what I want to do with the rest of it. Now, this is a strategy that we've been suggesting to some of our clients when looking at pubs specifically and when looking at community assets, because it's not just pubs, it is a whole variety of these community assets that can have the ACV imposed upon them, right? And it can be down to the last shop in the street. But importantly, you can, with a community interest company, with the community, set up a CIC, absolutely fine, in order to purchase that property, with you as the benevolent developer acting in the best interest of the community. You allow the community to run the pub, the doctor's surgery, the corner shop. I've no idea how the community would run the doctor's surgery, but bear with me. You allow them to do that. And you develop the other parts that they don't want. Because ultimately, a big pub is going to be too big for a community interest company to run. So you're going to have a discussion with them about which parts you hive off in order to make the pub more profitable, in order to make it work. How does that sound? I hope you like this. Smash like, smash subscribe, comment, absolutely comment if there's another video you want us to do, if there's a video that you want me to cover. Chat to me in the Property Expert community on Facebook, or put a link in the description below, put some bits and pieces in the description below. I will link the ACV regulations in the description below for you guys to have a good read, as well as the MPPF, just so you can see where I'm coming from. Have a great day, guys. Again, like, subscribe, comment, please do, and I'll catch you on the next Anti-Guru video. I've been John McDermott from the Beach Hut. See you next time.